Perfect. Good morning, pre-gamers. Today's Wednesday, right?
Doesn't feel like it, does it?
The holidays mess me up.
No, it's a strange hump day for sure.
Holidays mess me up.
Dude, I've been completely thrown off since school got out because now, like, I get up in the morning and my roommate Darren is home, and it just completely ruins my feng shui. Like, usually, you know me, I'm usually in here like 5 minutes before the show starts, and today it was like a good 25 just because I was like, I need to get out of the house.
I got it. You're messing me up, man. You're messing me up. Good morning, Ryan 840.
And yesterday morning was even weirder because my other roommate has so many vacation days at work built up. He went like 18 months without taking a vacation day once. That his boss is like forcing him to take his vacation day. So they have this deal worked out that after holidays, he gets one extra day.
Oh, perfect.
Just to start eating him up. So he was home yesterday. My other roommate was home yesterday, and I wanted to go insane.
I'm out.
I was like, dear God, get me to work. Like, I need to get away from you.
Listen,
people.
You sound like a lot of parents right now because their kids are on break, you know?
I get it.
You're like,
once you get your routine down and it gets thrown off, it's like, stop. Like, no, this is the worst.
Yes. My middle kid's, I don't know if he's mad at me. He's just not a morning guy. He's first full week off for everybody, right? He's got baseball camp. Starts at 8:30.
Luckily, my roommate is going to be teaching summer school for the middle schoolers later this summer, and I feel bad for him there, but not so much because I'm going to get my days back.
Because you got to get out. You got to get out.
And by the time he's done with summer school, I'm going to be heading off for Hale Varsity in the afternoon, so that's not too bad.
No, perfect.
We got about 30 seconds.
Perfect.
Here.
We're going to have a good day today. Good day today. Supposed to be a perfect day outside, too.
Yeah. Enjoy it before that. We're supposed to get rainstorms tomorrow.
I heard there's like maybe rain, like a ton of it.
Yeah. And like we're kind of on the edge of, are we going to get a quarter of an inch or are we going to get 6 inches?
Yes. They said it's like, it's not the severity of it, it's just how much precipitation.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Good morning, Lincoln, Nebraska. Happy hump day. Welcome in the Morning Hookup. Bill Hooks, Elijah Herbal, hanging out with me on the Morning Hookup today.
I blast everyone's ears.
That's
to start the show
guy, look, man, I was kind of feeling it. I'm a big Brittany fan.
Same.
We share the same birthday. I'm a lot older than she is. But it's like usually I get 2 cakes, one for her, one for me.
That
on her birthday.
That's a little out there for me.
My wife's listening. My gosh, she's going to kill me.
No, I was actually in here doing my work after our show yesterday evening. I was just jamming out to Brittany. So I saw this in Will's folder of potential songs, and I was like, yep, say less.
Thanks, Will. Look, he's got us. Hey, by the way, also, hey, morning, Shane. Appreciate you, my friend. Morning, Sarah, as well. Hey, Will's out today. Absolutely. He talked to you about it yesterday a little bit. Nana not doing well. So let's make sure that if we get the time in today to think about Will, his family, and, when those times come, never easy. To be there. I know we've all probably been through some part of it at some point letting someone go that you love and that you've been around for so long in your life that's meant so much. And so thinking about Will and his family this morning as, they're down there in Beatrice hanging out with Nana right now.
Yeah, keeping them in my prayers
for sure, man. But we have a lot of fun today as we get through this. So we're going to talk some baseball. Elijah and I were talking this morning and it kind of was like, all right, what do you want to talk about today? We're going to look at that regional from the stat perspective. We don't do a lot of stats, but these stats from Oklahoma State and Florida, they jump off the page at you. Again, what you're up against. Because, that's a stacked region when you start to look at it. Minus, is it Niagara that's there too?
Niagara, yeah. And
we're discounting them, okay? Like, not that we shouldn't. Like, they've got good waterfalls, right? Let them have that. But those other 2 teams, stats jump off the page.
And if you look at the betting lines for this regional, Vegas is even considering this the most wide open regional.
Yeah.
With Oklahoma State being most books you go to plus money to win this regional, which is rare for the ones
very
who
rare.
Plus money. They're just over even odds, but they are plus money. Florida's just behind them. Nebraska's sitting at about plus 325, plus 350, depending on the book.
Yep.
And then you have Niagara like plus 2,000.
They're happy to be involved.
So they're there, but according to Vegas, it's a wide open regional. As we dive into the stats here a little bit later, you'll see why. It's
interesting as you start to look at it. We'll look at that. We'll also have Henry T. Buchanan about 10:15, 10:20. He'll jump on the show and he'll probably be a little upset. He's a Pacers fan. They out. And then we'll look at some hoops with him and what's going on in like Nebraska basketball and overall NBA stuff because fortunately for Will last night, by the way, he got a dub. They survived in that series.
I didn't know if Luka tried to put the team on his back late.
Tried.
Well, there was that one 3-point foul that everyone's talking about today that probably shouldn't have been a foul. But hey, it led to some compelling basketball in that last 30 seconds.
It did. So we'll talk about that as well, because that series has been an interesting series, especially when you look at certain stats within the series and why each team has won, what they've won so far. And the Celtics are sitting there with 2 weeks off. Because I don't think they even start, and maybe not 2 weeks. It's June 6th, I think, is when the series starts.
Yeah.
The finals. Which it's important that the Mavs, if they're going to win this series, to get it done sooner than later. Luka needs some time.
Well, it opens up the age-old question: rest versus rust.
I know. Luka banged up. Kyrie Irving not that young anymore. Do the Celtics, are they sitting too long?
Well, I mean, that's the question. But then I look at the Mavs too, with kind of how they reinvented themselves. They're a more defensive team than they were to start the year, and that's kind of where they've made some of their money on in the postseason. Is rest better for a defensive team like that, or do you just want to keep up the intensity through the postseason and try to ride a hot hand whenever you have it? It's the age-old question for a reason. Celtics are definitely going to be rested.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's any question. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Mavs close it out in Game 5, but I also wouldn't see the Timberwolves go and force a Game 6, in which case now you're talking even more potential rust for the Celtics, whereas the Mavs stay in rhythm. What does that mean? I don't really know. I don't think you really know until June 6th. But.
Exactly. You don't know. So before we get to baseball, I do want to ask you, because it kind of goes with baseball a little bit, and you're speaking about rest and stuff that you get you get up for and you train for. Are you a little worried? I know that the 999 hasn't happened, obviously, with what's going on with Will and the fam. You trained a little bit.
Oh.
Now you got to hit the reset button, don't you?
Yes,
you got to hit reset, because at some point it's going to happen.
Well, the thing is over the past, let's say, I took like a week and a half, 2 weeks off halfway through, but I've been on a bit of a diet.
Yeah.
A bit of a diet. So I was like, let's get my body ready for this. And Memorial Day weekend was going to be a nice way to just be like, all right, I'm going to let the diet go for a weekend. I'm going to get ready for this. Well, I think you saw on Twitter, I went through a dry run Saturday night for the Husker baseball
I saw
game.
it. You had to play. I saw it.
Awful.
Did you do it? You actually did the challenge.
I wanted to time it up and be like, how hard is this? It is legitimately crack a beer, drink your beer, finish a hot dog, finish your beer, and then, the inning's over.
Yeah,
okay,
that's the thing. I was thinking about that because Will and I were talking about, like, you don't know how long innings last. Like, for that challenge, you're hoping for extended innings. You don't want the quick inning.
No, and the worst part is like end of the first inning, you go to commercial break. Okay, I'll go warm myself up a hot dog in the microwave, make this thing quick.
Yeah. Get
the hot dog on the bun, get some mustard on the bun, show back up. 2 outs on top of the second. What's going on?
You need to because because you got to do it as it'll be at the stadium.
Yeah.
Or is it the challenge? Is it, do I get ahead? Do I try to get ahead?
Well, I
do 2 in the first?
The plan to
plan it out.
I'm going to try to go the true heart of the challenge, which is 1 of each per inning. But I think the key is early loading up and making sure you have a whole bunch of beers and hot dogs sitting next to you, so you don't have to go waste time by going up and standing in line at a concession stand. I think that's one of the keys.
How many beers can you get at once, though? Like, that's 2 per?
2 per. I'm going to have Will get me some, I think, as well.
Will's going to be having his own watching you.
I know, but I'm going to need to rely upon him. That's what I learned, because there comes a point where you don't want to get up.
Yeah.
So
that's why I understand that you want to be up in the company suite doing this, not down with the people.
Yeah.
But I think you should be with the people.
We'll see.
So they can encourage you.
We'll see. I do.
And Will can announce it to everyone, by the way, in this section, wherever you're at. Like, this is where we're at. Because you also got to go down with Coach Jody.
Do I have to?
Because, you're supposed to say hi. Because Coach Jody, we talked with Coach Jody on Thursday that he knows this is happening.
I've heard he advised against it.
He did advise against it. He never heard of it, but he wants to see the start and the finish of you.
Oh, it's just me down in the dugout throwing up at the end of the game.
Coach, do you mind if I jump over? I know there's a bathroom in there, and I don't know if I can make it up top.
That bathroom in there?
It's not. Sucks. Yeah, I'm not messing with that. I've seen him.
No, but
I've seen him.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I definitely, though, learned, considering I fell asleep in the 6th inning, I'm going to need a Red Bull probably right before the game. If not, try to sneak one into the game as well and try to go that way, because the caffeine, the energy will be needed.
Well, let's do this. Let's start looking at this regional for Nebraska baseball. Obviously, 2:00 Friday. ESPN Plus, I believe, is where they'll be showing these games at. And let's talk Florida. Obviously, we know who Nebraska's coming in a hot streak, winning 5 straight, winning the Big Ten championship, getting some rest right now, as everybody is, as they go down there. And We talked about this yesterday. As a team like Nebraska or any team, you want to be playing your best baseball going into postseason play. And they are, right? They're coming on a hot streak right now. But, man, let's look at this Florida group. And people have always questioned, Florida, how'd they get in? 28-27 on the season. You look at that. SEC is stacked. They got 11 teams in this postseason tournament. Florida had the number one toughest schedule in the entire country. And they get a lot of credit for doing that with 28-27. But, man, look at the stats that we looked at. And we're talking about their hitting stats first and foremost. This team, 4th in the SEC. So think about it. They were 4th in the SEC, 7th in the country in home runs. 116 bombs. That's a lot. That's a lot, folks. Like, go back to, was it last year when Nebraska had a bunch of tanks? And they hit like 100. That was like epic for Nebraska,
especially for a Will Bolt
for
team.
a Will Bolt team. So they got 116 home runs. Boy, and you look no further. They have a stud on this team. I just like to call him Jack because I mess up the last name all the time.
Castiglione.
And that's just their baseball name, isn't it?
I'm not sure if you pronounce the E on the end or not.
I don't know, but man,
it's either Castiglione or Castiglione.
55 games played, 55 games started. He comes in, and we found this telling stat that we're going to go through, and Elijah's going to give you the math on it because I think it's interesting. He's hitting .415 on the season. You're talking about a top 5 pick, by the way, as we talk about this gentleman, and 212 at bats. He struck out 21 times. 21 times. That's so crazy because you think a guy like that is a big strikeout guy. He's hit 29 home runs. He has more home runs than strikeouts in 212 at bats.
So he hits a home run 14% of the time. He strikes out 10% of the time.
That's unheard of. Yeah. That's insane. When you look at it, 21 strikeouts, 29 home runs, 179 total bases on the season.
Oh, and he pitches too.
And he pitches.
he's their best pitcher.
Most likely you might see him. If you look at it from the pitching perspective on him, I mean, ERA is not great. He doesn't go extended innings like a lot of these guys that you'll see. 4.35. He has 13 starts. He's 5-1 in those 13 starts. 68 strikeouts and 62 innings while walking 44. So there's a chance, right? But SEC, like this school, when you look at their pitching stats, they're not going to beat you on pitching. They're going to hopefully they can battle through it, shut you down just a little bit, and absolutely outscore you.
Well, you can even go through and look at their schedule this year. I believe, I was doing this math before the show. I believe when you hold them below 5 runs, they've only won 2 games on the year.
But that doesn't happen very often.
No. Whenever they win baseball games, they beat you. Let's see. You look at some of their recent results, their recent wins: 19-11, 7-4, 10-1, 10-8, 9-5, 13-3. They beat you by scoring runs, which is the question.
Well, they average right now, if you look at it, they average right at 7 a game. They've scored 383 runs in 55 games.
So I think that kind of begs the question as you look at Friday. Is it a game where your bats need to step up, or is it a game where Brett Sears needs to go out there and throw a gym? Like what's more likely whenever you're going up against this line? Obviously, you need both.
I think it's going to have to be the pitching. I really do, because pitching and good defense, making plays when they need to be made, no free passes. You cannot give – I can't express enough on the pitching side for Nebraska. And they've been really good this year. Credit Rob Childress and the staff and what they've done with the pitching staff. Obviously, looking at their stats, leading all the Big Ten major categories in first place there. Free passes opens up free opportunities for this type of offense to destroy you. Because we talk about Jack, right? But they got one – like they hit 272 as a team, folks. They hit 116 bombs. You got bombs 29, 13, 13, 13, 18, 14, 11. There's 7 or 8 dudes in this lineup that can instantly hit home runs.
Well, and that's why I don't really think there's a discussion. I think you're going to throw Sears on Friday.
There's no doubt.
You don't get that luxury of being a 1 seed in this regional where you can throw your number 2 guy and still probably be okay, which is probably what I think Oklahoma State's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're probably going to throw their number 2 guy on Friday and save their number 1 guy for potential 1-2 or 1-3 matchup on Saturday. But when you look at Sears, sets up well. 18 walks this year and 8 hit by pitches. So we're talking 26 free passes and 99 innings pitched this year.
That's good. He's your guy. I mean, he's been your guy, right? Undefeated on the season. He's been your go-to, but he's got to be that guy. He's got to be willing to look past some of these numbers and just, I think as a pit, just challenge. Be who you're going to be on the mound.
And
regardless of the stats. Like you're going to put a future Major League Baseball, I mean, a few of these, but Jack's going to come up there. You got to be willing just to pitch to him. Find their weakness. Find his weakness and challenge. Don't be scared, right? But the free passes, I can't express enough about free passes with an offense like this will destroy you in games like these.
And it's a question of how's his fastball working, because that's what his bread and butter's been this year. He doesn't have one of those overpowering 98, 99 mile an hour fastballs. You know, he sits low 90s, but it's still somehow, despite being low 90s, a bit of an FU fastball.
Oh, yeah. He comes at you with it.
You know what I'm talking about? It's like, is he trying to blow it by you? No, not necessarily. No. But he's still going to challenge you with it, despite the fact that it's sitting in the low 90s. It's still an FU fastball. If Florida gets the read on his fastball and starts hitting fast, it's going to be a long day.
Be a long day. And a lot of that I will say and credit Coach Childress, because I'm sure from calling a good game, right? And location, right? Brett Sears has been really good in the location department this year. Like you said, the kind of the FU, like come at you, like I'm going to come at you inside. I'm going to come at you down and out. I'm going to wherever I need to be. I'm going to be in this type of game. But I think pitching and defense is the important part of this, because God, when I look at it from depending on who they throw, the pitching stats for Florida don't jump out at you and go, oh my gosh, they got a guy. If you look at the number of starts, like you and I were trying to figure out who their second guy is, and maybe we're missing it. You've got Jack, who's thrown 13 times, 13 appearances, 13 starts. You've got another gentleman down here, Liam Peterson, 14 appearances, 12 starts. Right? That's the only two double-digit starters they've thrown out all year long. You've got a few other guys out there that have thrown. You got a 8-game starter in Cade Fisher and things like that. But they boast, and again, take this for what it is. You got a few guys like, yeah, whatever. It's like their ERAs they don't jump off the page to you, right? And actually, Jack's got the best ERA from the start. He's 4.3. Again, they're going to try to out-hit you.
And how many appearances, how many starts does Castiglione have on the year?
13.
13. How many innings pitched?
62. He leads them with the most innings pitched at 62.
So we're talking he's averaging 5 innings pitched per game.
And then they just piece it together after that. You've got dudes that have has it like this guy, Ryan Slater. Let's throw him out there, right? From a guy that's he's made 28 appearances, only 3 starts. You got a ton of guys on their roster that made 20 appearances. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6, 7 guys that made 20 plus appearances. So they try to get their starters to 4 or 5, and then they piece it together for you.
Which has been I think
they're a high strikeout team. They got 557 strikeouts on the year.
I think you can almost compare, like, bullpen wise, I think Nebraska's a lot deeper, but you've seen that a lot with those Sunday games, those Tuesday games, and Nebraska's like, let's get 3-4 innings out of the starter, let's turn it over to the bullpen. And you've seen the issues that Nebraska's had with that. It's been a similar story for Florida this year, where the wheels are going to fall off for somebody
at some point.
So,
and you want to believe, like, talking about bullpens, that Nebraska has hit its stride with confidence with a lot of guys. You look at the confidence they came out of the series with a Will Walsh, the way he threw it and just shoved it. Jackson Brockett, who shoved it. Drew Christo, right, who finally probably looked like who we all had hoped in a series, right, to come in and kind of shove it in some places.
It's amazing how moving to the bullpen changed his feel on the mound. He went to the bullpen and gained some confidence. But like, as I look at Friday, a little bit too early for me. How does Nebraska win this baseball game? They get a solid 7 innings from Sears. He leaves the mound with the lead. You can turn it over to your bullpen while Castiglione doesn't go deep into this game.
That's it.
4 innings from Castiglione, get to that bullpen, start to do some work there, get Sears a lead after 7. I trust that you can probably turn it to Wardley for a 6-out save there.
Yeah,
He's been the consistent guy.
Or piece it together somehow with studs. Like, just come and get it.
But how do the wheels fall off? You start giving up some free passes. Sears doesn't go as deep as you'd like. Couple home runs early in this game, and Nebraska baseball is playing from behind. That's where things start to get hairy. I will say, a lot of high-scoring games from Florida this year, so I'm not saying Nebraska's out of it if they give up a lead early. History would tell you from Florida that they're going to allow you back into this game at some point with their bullpen, but you don't want to be playing from behind against this Florida team because they're not going to stop scoring runs.
No,
if their bats are confident, it's going to be one of those games where they're scoring in innings 1 through 9.
Yep, and you're talking about a good draw off an offensive team. Go to Stillwater, where the ball jumps out of the stadium.
I mean, we were talking yesterday on our show a couple years ago in the Stillwater Regional. You remember Missouri State jumping out 13-0 on Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State comes back to win 29-15.
Yeah, it jumps out of this ballpark. This is a hitter's ballpark.
That's an average.
This
Stillwater
isn't playing
regional.
up in Omaha, right? For these guys, this is a hitter's ballpark, and that's why Sears has got to be really good. Don't want to get these guys because Florida, if you look at them, they're not a big time like execution team. They just want to mash and beat you. So
they want to beat you in a slugfest.
They do want to beat you in a slugfest. So we'll look at that. It's good stuff, Elijah. Awesome stuff right there. Let's take a break. We're going to take a break, and we will get to Oklahoma State, but we wanted to highlight Florida first because that's who you get Friday. Oklahoma State presents its own challenges. Let's get to that point first, right? Because that's another whole challenge when you get to there. So let's take a break. We come back. We'll have the Mac, Henry T. Buchanan.
You're listening to the Morning Hookup with Bill Hooks and Will Wilson. More coming up.
What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh man, shoot, sitting here relaxing and working. You know, hey, I'm back home and working in the house, man. I'm getting back into my groove.
Nice.
Hey, Elijah, how you
doing?
Good.
Yeah, we got Elijah down. If Will told you, Will is gone. He's in Beatrice. His Nana not doing well.
Oh man, sorry.
Yeah. So the family is down there hanging out with Nana just to be there.
That's all right. My thoughts are with him and his family.
So we won't miss a beat. We won't miss a beat.
Oh, absolutely. I think I've been on with Elijah.
Man, my wife keeps texting me this morning.
Never
what? During the show?
Yeah, you know what she's doing. It's Wednesday. You know what I do on Wednesdays. She's trying to catch me before I go to the golf course at noon. I mean, look, it's just pouring in.
Do you mean your home course?
Oh, I'm going there. 12 o'clock. We go off at 12 today.
Awesome.
And it sounds like it's a less busy week at the house this week. Your daughter's out in D.C.
Man.
Your son's got baseball.
Wife's out in D.C. Not wife. My daughter is on a junior trip going to her senior year in D.C., enjoying her time and exploring. And then, Ty's got baseball camp. And, it's quiet at the house.
Oh, man.
Except they're up early, man. They always I don't know why they're getting up. And, we were just talking about this. I like my special groove in the morning. I get up early, have my coffee, hanging out. But, now I got different people there. Look at Malone. What up to you? Morning, fella, just sitting at work, listening to my favorite segment of the week. Appreciate you.
What's up, Matthew?
Good stuff.
I haven't seen Theo in too
Morning,
long.
Greg.
It's been a couple months since I've seen Theo. It's been a while. Probably since high school basketball season.
Theo's solid stud. They let you listen at work? I didn't know they let him listen at work. Or are you sneaking the AirPod, Theo? Sneaking it in.
Sneaking it in?
Probably.
I'm not. You say Greg? I'm not getting all the chats.
You get any comments again?
Yeah, I have Matthews, but I don't have Greg's.
What if it didn't? I don't know why. Yeah, Greg. He just said good morning earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, you said the train has stopped. Oh, that's good stuff. Well, we're getting some good weather here. Gee,
really?
So good, man.
No rain and nothing. No rain and
not till maybe tomorrow night.
I have a question for you. Not to jump all over it. This was bothering me this weekend. I was driving out Highway 6, and there was a really long train. And what really confused me was there was a locomotive in the middle of the train. And I was like, why would there possibly be? And it was turned around. So you had the one that was pulling it, obviously, and you had one that was turned around in the middle of the train with more cars behind it. And then you had the locomotive on the back, the caboose, if you will. I was sitting there wondering, and I was like, if I ever see Theo, I'm going to ask this question. Theo's in the screen, the train stopped. It's a good time to ask. Was it because they had just hooked up another train on the back?
I don't know. That's weird.
I don't know.
Distributive. He just commented.
Distributive power.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not quite sure what that means, but it's an answer, so I'll take
yeah,
it.
dig. Right 840 said do-rag covers the ear pods. Well, just saying.
We have to hop on the wave. Never been much of a do-rag guy. I think it's
I'm all in.
probably my upbringing.
Maybe the old like bandanas back in the day.
White boy in Lincoln, Nebraska, I don't think tends to wear many do-rags. Maybe I should start.
Yeah.
We're coming back.
Here we go.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Welcome back in the Morning Hookup. Happy hump day. Bill Hooks, Elijah Herval hanging out. Sending our thoughts still to Will Wilson down to Beatrice, hanging out with Nana and the entire family. So be thinking about those guys as they're going through a little tough time down there with a loved one. So, but we got the Mac, Henry T. Buchanan. T, what's good, my friend?
What's up, fellas? What's up, Elijah?
How we doing?
It's all y'all talking about good weather, man. It's finally in the hundreds here, so it's get up to about 105 yesterday. So it's the hottest day of the year so far, but it'll continue creeping up. But I golfed a couple times over the weekend, and my body is still recovering. I'm not like you. I'm not like you, Hooksy. I get out there and it wears me down, but I still enjoy it.
Do everyone in Arizona, because most people have pools and stuff out there when you're out there. Are you a morning swimmer? Do you get up and do a little morning swim? Because I know a lot of people that I know out there, that's the first thing, because it's too hot. It's too hot to swim later on.
No, I like it in the evening. It gets like I used to just jump in it after work, but that's when I went in the office. We're doing this hybrid approach. I get to work at home for 3 weeks out of the month and 1 week in the office. So it threw off my timing, but I thoroughly enjoy it after work. A long day at work, jump in the pool, turn on the TV, and have a couple sodas. And I used to go to sleep out there in the pool and watching games and things of that sort. So I'm going to change it up a little bit this year, and it looks like it's going to be another hot summer like it normally is. So I'm already prepared. I got a routine.
See, I was surprised. I made it down to Arizona over the winter time, and it's like every house has a pool.
They all got pools.
Like every single house has a pool, and it's like 80 degrees in the winter time, and it's too cold for swimming. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh, definitely. When I have a heater for my pool, so I got one of those heated pools, but I can never use it because when I use the heater, I don't know if it's too small for my size of my pool. But when I first got the house, the first weekend we used it, I had a bill like $800-900 just for the weekend. I'm like, oh no. So we purchased a hot tub. So we got the above pool hot tub, and so use the hot tub during the winter and the pool during the summer. So it's all good.
Oh man, see the life they live. He talked about a pool being so big his heater doesn't work.
No, that heater too small for it.
She would be rolling over right now.
Oh man, he's seen it, knucklehead.
Oh my gosh, we got.
Speaking of shoes.
I knew if I said that name, it was going to start.
Well, it's always something. So the other game, the game that they lost, but you remember that dunk Ant-Man just kind of jumped over and just floated in there, MJ-ish, and it's pretty nasty. Even though they lost the game, but they came back last night and took care of business. And I know. And a guy, Will, is pretty happy about the game last night. But anyway, so we're, of course I call him after it happens, we all excited. And of course he has to relate this to his time in college. And he brought up the time that he was playing in a tournament in Hawaii. And I forgot the team that they were playing, but I guess he dunked on somebody in Hawaii. And you remember Durrell Griffin, Dr. Duncan, allegedly saw that, and when he ran by him, made a comment, "Nice dunk, my guy," or something like that. And he's all fired up, Dr. Duncanstein. So he said that correlates with his dunk, Ant-Man's dunk. And now Shu, you got to keep in mind, he can't jump over a nickel, and but he got super long arms, and so I'm sure he fingertip dunked it, and the guy was probably getting out of his way. But that's how I see it. But he's pretty excited about it. And the time he dunked on a guy that's from Indiana at KU, shoe dunking compared to Ant-Man. So it's it went from Ant-Man excitement to his college days where he probably laid it up.
It's kind of funny to be like, yeah, you see that dunk from that guy that everybody compares to MJ? Kind of look like me, yeah?
No, he says it correlates to when he dunked on this guy, and Daryl Griffin gave him some props, Dr. Dunkenstein, which was a high riser back in his Louisville days, and of course Utah Jazz and a couple other NBA teams. He's a legend, but that's shoot for you.
Hooksy, you ever dunked on anybody, Hooksy?
No.
Me.
No. I've thrown plenty of fastballs by people, but that's it.
I touched the rim once.
There you go.
Yeah.
See,
hey, which I did here now. I still got to figure out which one's the hardest, hitting a pitch or a golf ball.
Oh, I will tell you what's more.
I mean, where you want the golf ball to go.
I'll tell you the most frustrating thing is the second thing is trying to hit a golf ball. It's frustrating. I think it's frustrating, but I don't know. I'm going to tell you, I think from a hitter's perspective, it's pretty damn hard to hit something coming that fast, and the reaction had to be so quick. Like, I think that's a skill in itself to watch these guys nowadays. Because again, when I played, it was like if somebody touched 90, they were like, "Oh my gosh!" If you throw 90 now, you're like the third guy, right? Everybody's throwing 95 plus, and I don't understand that athletic ability and that reaction time.
I will say though, I have seen as a baseball umpire here, high school around. I've seen guys that play baseball for 8 summers and can hit a pretty good fastball. I've seen a lot of guys that golf for 8 summers that still can't hit the fairway.
Yeah, I mean that's my point exactly.
True.
And speaking of hitting the baseball, what do y'all think? What's your thoughts on the Negro League records being implemented with Major League Baseball? And I didn't realize how great Josh Gibson was. He passed Ty Cobb and Babe Ruth on a couple of those records. That's pretty impressive. And I just kind of caught some of it this morning, so I really haven't dug into it, but. It's going to be interesting, after 100 years or how many years it's been that they would do something like that and recognize the records, from the Negro League. I think that's pretty impressive.
Oh, I think it's awesome. I think it's well overdue probably
to
get those stats integrated because of the times that everybody lived in at that time and the sport being played. Absolutely. You messed those things together. But like you said, Josh Gibson is now the all-time leader, by the way, if you look at this, what he was talking about with that decision, Josh Gibson now the baseman's all-time leader in career batting average at 372 over Ty Cobb's 366. His 718 beating out Ruth's 690 from the slugging percentage, and his OPS is now 1.11177, which also beating out Babe Ruth.
Wow.
I'll say, you say long overdue. I agree with you on that. Like real baseball fans know how legit the Negro Leagues were. Real baseball fans know. I don't think the MLB, like, there's going to be a lot of people that are up in arms about this. I mean, like, that's not a real baseball league. The MLB, I think, to real baseball fans, didn't need to do these stats. I'm glad they're doing it. They didn't need to do this to show everybody how legit it was. I'm glad there's going to be more people, but real baseball fans knew how legit those stats were and knew how legit the Negro Leagues were. So I'm glad to see it. I just wish it didn't have to be like the MLB being like, yeah, we're gonna recognize these stats now for a lot of people to be like, oh, the Negro Leagues were legit. I think they could have done better through the years of promoting some of the great players out of the Negro Leagues.
Yes,
I'll say that.
Again, we got the Mac Husker legend Henry T. Buchanan. Man, we're like we're not kind of to the dog days of summer quite yet, but when you guys were in the summer, obviously Nebraska basketball. I mean, basketball, they're kind of sitting around right now, snakes in the grass. Occasionally, you get a Robin Wash It tweet where it's Fred on the phone, and you're like, oh boy, something's about to happen right now. But for you guys that are around right now, what in the summers, what were you doing right now? Like, how you keeping it together? And are the new guys coming to campus? And give us kind of the lay of the land of what you guys did and what you're hoping this team is doing.
Well, back in times when D. Vic and all of us were in college, we had jobs. They got us jobs, and actually D. Vic and I worked together.
Time. Where'd you work?
Linwell.
Okay.
Linwell Welding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah, I know
Yes,
exactly what
sir.
you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, we did that, and Eric Johnson worked with us the second year, and we were just told not to tell the full time employees what we made, but yeah, we worked and we played
So,
basketball.
so time out. So you're telling me this is early pay for play stuff,
Oh no, wait a
and
minute,
that's how you got around it.
they made me listen to somebody that worked with.
Wait. You
Hey
were
man, I'm
making.
divulging too much information. Quit asking me about my days in college.
I think we can assume you were making just as much, if not more, than the full-time employee. What were you doing? Like, what did your job actually entail?
Well, we would spool wires, and then we would fill up the nitrogen tanks and take them to businesses. We would travel. We would get a van, and we would drop them off like at the a lot of centers and hospitals and things of that sort. And matter of fact, I gave away a lot of my photos because once they find out who you are when you deliver this equipment and things of the sort for the hospitals and nursing homes and things of that sort, they recognize who you are, and first thing they want to do is get an autograph, a photo, and of course back then we were able to just go up to university and go up and just get as many photos of ourselves that we can find, and we'll just sign them and give them to them and things. So it was a great job and we worked. I mean, it wasn't like we were just showing up and we got trained and we tried to compete with the full-time employees, and they enjoyed working with us. We just wasn't, able to say, what our salaries we were or how much money we were making per hour. But it was nothing crazy. But we worked and we played basketball all across the city of Lincoln, and wherever they were playing, we would find it. Whether it's South Street, you name it. What was that? Southeast in the mornings, Northeast in the mornings, Air Park. Hey, wherever they were playing basketball, we would find it, and that's what we did during the summers. And we just stayed in shape, and because you had to, because we had to. When it came to school starting, right before school started, we had our preseason workout conditioning, and you had to get prepared for that 6-minute mile, and then also the football players, Morgan Gregory and all those guys laughing at us, jumping up and hopping up in the stadiums, those stadium stairs, Randy Goble and the rest, working us out. But we had a really busy summer, and the folks that stuck around, the majority of us did stick around, and that's why we're such a close-knit group now. As far as staying in contact over the years, we just, once we met and played together, we're lifelong friends. So, but we did a lot. So, basketball was our life.
Can I ask the question, as you look back on your college days? There's a quote from Bill Walton that's been going around this week, and may he rest in peace. Loved Bill Walton, his coverage. I mean, my era, it's more watching him on Pac-12 broadcasts. I know you guys actually got to watch him play. No, I'm not calling you old, but maybe just a little bit. But like I got to watch him on Pac-12 broadcasts, and he had a great quote about just how awesome the college basketball life is. He's like, I tell the college basketball players out there, you get to wake up in the morning and go learn from really interesting people teaching you interesting topics. Then you get to go play basketball all afternoon. In the evening, you get to go study with your friends, with like some of the best friends that you have in your life, the guys in your basketball team. And then that night you go home, you go to bed, and you do it all again the next day. He called it like the dream life. Do you have any thoughts on that? Or does Bill Walton paint a nicer picture of college basketball than what it actually is?
Well, I mean, I agree with him 1,000%. I mean, that's pretty much what it's about. You live together, you work together, you practice together, you study together. We had, even in road games, I've talked about this before. One thing Coach Nee demanded was that we have 2-hour study sessions each, whether you're on the road or not. And I have already told the story, when it comes to academics, that I even I couldn't skip we were playing Iowa State one night, and I had a night class, and it just happened to run on the night before our game, and I wasn't able to fly to the game, and I had to stick around and go to the class, and one of the assistant coaches had to give me a ride that night and play at Iowa State, and against against Jeff Guerrero and those guys. But no, he's absolutely right. It's a life, and D. Vic and I played 4 years together. He lives 11 miles from me, so think about that. I've been knowing D. Vic for 40 years, and we're still best friends, and he lives 11 minutes from me. So that's what college life is about. And Bo Reeds of the world, Bill Jackson's, and Bernard Days, we all stay in contact. So it's lifelong friendship, and that's what the basketball world teaches you, and you kind of bring some of those skills to the business world, and a lot of things that I was taught playing collegiate basketball, and the camaraderie and the teamwork has made me successful at State Farm. And so it's a beautiful thing, and I can't agree with him more. And any of my teammates should tell you the same thing. That's Bill Johnson's. He's working for the university now. He had a birthday yesterday, and just wishing him a happy birthday. And he's doing big things for the university now. So we all stay in contact. And we knew when he was at Nevada, we just really stayed. We know what everybody's doing. Joe Sealer just retired from the FBI. Hey man, we're all doing our thing, and we stay in contact, and we're always going to be there for each other. And that Legends Weekend at 10 Miles has been great for the program, and getting everybody back in Lincoln, and being able to, of course, our stories get bigger and bigger, and we were better than ever each year that we talk about our times at the university. But there's moments and there's memories that we're going to cherish for the rest of our lives.
Well, Tease, go back there a little bit. I know you talked about basketball got you there. Where did it all start that you knew you were building relationships? Who taught you that? Because, and again, I think it's important, especially in the last few years, that we make this point to people listening, not just in the sports world, but in life in general. Because if you look at the sports world, the portal, all that makes it real tough to create relationships, but also in life, man, because things come and go. So talk about where it all started for you, knowing you were going to be a relationship builder.
Well, that was easy. That came from my dad. Growing up with my dad, and the relationships that I saw him build with people that we really don't. And just to be fully transparent, growing up in Muncie, Indiana, we had a side of town called Shed Town that people like me were not allowed to even think about going in this neighborhood. And but my dad, he took me everywhere. He was a man that knew everyone, and he would work on cars. He was a master mechanic, car mechanic. And we would drive into Shed Town where nobody else was allowed. And I watched his relationship with the people that allegedly didn't like us. And everybody else was just amazed that he could do that. And I just watched how he built relationships. And also my mom. My mom built a lot of racial relationships. I remember when my mom would cook, I was able to bring friends and, people, you could just bring a person off the street was allowed to eat at our house. So I just kind of watched how my parents dealt with people. And then, of course, you join the military, joining the military where, you meet folks from all walks of life, and these becomes your brothers in arms. And so you understand that, first of all, relationships is one of the most important things that you can develop, ever develop in your lifetime. And then the trust part, and then being able to go to college after the military, it was pretty much easy because I knew that building relationships, with my teammates and the coaching staff, my teachers, all along is going to make my life a lot easier. And it's not about trying to be, wanting to be liked by everybody, but it's more about building, learning each other's and strengths and weaknesses, and building that trust, and how successful that, because you learn early in life that you don't make it in life on your own. So it's you making with people that's believing in you and trusting you, and once you build that relationship, then it just continues, and it happens in the workforce. The relationship I built with you, Bill. Yep. When Matthew brought me along in that station with you and Will, Shoecraft and I growing up around the corner from each other. You just those things it just trinkles, and it just moves across, it just continues moving. And if you can't build a relationship with people, then it's going to be tough to be successful in this world, in life in general. So it was a skill that I was taught at an early age, and I just continue building on it, and folks trusting me, and once a person trusts you or believe in you before you believe in yourself. And I told you about my Air Force coach, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him believing in my talent, because I knew I could play, but I didn't think I could play at the collegiate level. I mean, I'm killing you in the military, but that doesn't mean I can kill at the next level, the level after that. And after he convinced me to go to college and call Larry Brown, and look where I'm at now, 4 years of collegiate basketball and working for State Farm with an accounting degree. Who would have thought? Me coming out of Muncie, Indiana, moving this far in life. And so but relationships building has a lot to do with that, and trust. Now, you don't get me wrong, you can't trust everybody.
No.
But you got to pick and choose your battles, and believe in yourself and believe in others. And if you're not willing to really be happy for others succeeding, then you're going to have a tough life.
I think to piggyback on that, Bill Walton's life, and as he's being remembered this week, it's a great reminder. Bill Walton's a fantastic basketball player, Hall of Fame.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And what's he being remembered for this week? It's not the basketball player. It's the relationships that he made in life. It's how he made people feel, and how people think back on just the time that he spent with them. I mean, for all the years he spent playing basketball, there's been very few stories I've heard this week about Bill Walton on the basketball court. It's been Bill Walton off the basketball court with his teammates, with his friends, with his loved ones. And I think that's a really important reminder just as we go through life. I know it's a sports talk show, but it's an important reminder in life that we're not going to be remembered by what we do. It's how we treat people.
Absolutely. And I learned, like I said, I learned that early on, because I've asked Frank Oley's mayor. And speaking of Frank, I know he's dealing with some health issues, and I haven't gotten the details, but my thoughts and prayers with him, and I'll be following up on that. But just in general, even talking to him after I was able to go play college basketball and get my degree and what have you, and, you think you owe someone, and I always ask Frank, what I owe you for helping me, through life. And he just, you don't owe me anything. Do that for someone else, and you don't realize the impact that a person that you're making on someone else's life. And it don't have to be monetary. It doesn't have to be, sometimes it's just advice or just encouragement, because you never know what someone's going through, or the lack of confidence that someone is living with. And, but for someone to take that type of, care for you and really being firm, because Frank was firm. He's like, no, you're going to go play college basketball. And, I got a wife and kid at the time. And I'm like, man, it's just not that easy, man. I'm about ready to re-enlist and do it. I'm going to do 20 years in the Air Force, man. And I got my whole life already planned out. And, but I'm glad I made the decision. And every opportunity I get, I try to help out others. And that's just, and not more that Frank, what he told me, but I just think my life experiences, I just think that's just my calling. And yes, do some people take advantage of you? Heck yeah. But at the same token, man, it doesn't change who you are. Just continue being who you are, and do good by others and do good by yourself. And and life would be so much easier for you.
T, I have to ask, I know this is not no, I waited till the end. The Pacers, my friend, they bowed out, but it's not that they lost, but I want to talk about I don't know if you want to call it championship DNA or closeouts, how to close out games, because they got swept, but they led. I want to say, wasn't 3 of the 4 games with 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
There's something that did not correlate for them closing out games against a really good Celtics team.
Well, it's 2 things there. Number one is experience. The Boston Celtics has been there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be honest with y'all. These, I've been one of the biggest critics of NBA becoming so young, but these young guys are coming, and they are coming. And I just think this was a great experience for the Indiana Pacers. Mm-hmm. And I heard Kevin Garnett brought this up the other day, and how he learned through MJ. You got to prepare. Most players prepare for the season.
Yep.
Nobody's preparing for the playoffs or getting to the finals. You have to not only physically prepare, but you have to mentally prepare. That's how far I'm going. These young guys have no idea what it takes to get to the NBA Finals, let alone making it to the Western Conference Finals or Eastern Conference Finals. Yep. Minnesota, they're still in there, but it's just an experience and preparing yourself mentally and physically. And because a lot of times, I know when we practice, in pre-conference, and I remember Coach Nee is, it's how far you want to go and it's how hard you're going to work. Do you want to make it to the tournament or postseason tournament? Do you want to get to the NCAA? So you got to work that work ethic. Now, I don't know what the NBA, what their mindset is, but I thought what Kevin Garnett says that you have to prepare yourself mentally and physically, and not just to get through the season, but to get through a rugged playoff series and get into the NBA Finals. So it's more of a learning opportunity. And I thought the Pacers did show well. They gave up 3 to 4 games that they were swept in that they should have won. But could have, would have, should have, it's always a saying. But I know Will's pretty happy on Minnesota. Minnesota, the Cat, I've been a critic, inside critic, on Cat and how he's performing and playing. And the Ant-Man, I just thought that, it's not over with yet. It's still going to be tough for them to win 3 games. Never been done. 154
Yep.
Games, 3-0s. Being down 3-0 and losing that series. But, you can never say never. It's been the first thing, for everything. Just how many times, Virginia was the first team that lost the number 1 seed against the 16th seed. So It can't happen. And they're going back home. So if they get that game 3, if they get game 5?
5.
If they get game 5 and it's 3-2 going back to Dallas, they have already proven that they can win in Dallas and should have probably won a game or 2. Dallas might be in trouble. Don't give her Luka and Kyrie is playing lights out, man. But
Watch out.
Those young bucks are coming, and I'm an old school guy, man, but those young bucks are coming. Ant-Man are coming. And so it's going to be interesting. If Minnesota wins it on Thursday, then we're going to have a series, and we might see the first 3-0 comeback, especially for the Western Conference Championship to go to the NBA Finals, man. That'd be historic. But I'm not ready for basketball to end. So
No.
I don't know about y'all. But we do have the Olympics around the corner.
Yep.
Speaking of, K-Say got invited to a couple of camps. Sacramento and the Clippers, man. And I'm so proud of Ty Lue, man. That was huge. And and like I said, he has an NBA jumper. Trust me, he can shoot probably better than 90% or more of the NBA players now. However, the physicality and the different parts of the game, but this the NBA, they can find a spot for you. And if you need a shooter,
You got one.
You got one, and I'm pretty excited for the young man. And that would be, especially if you go place for Ty Lue, man. Let's just see what happens, man. Fingers crossed, man. And when I read that, man, I've been pretty fired up, man, for him. And I almost want to give Ty Lue a call and say, hey, man, take this serious, man, and keep him on the roster. just for the hustle's sake, man. But I'd love to see that.
All it is just getting an opportunity. Get yourself a summer league invite. Get yourself a spot in the G League roster and just see what happens. Yeah.
Well, the summer league is coming up, so he's going to be probably playing with one of those 2 teams, I would guess.
Yep.
I would guess.
T-Man, boy, this is such good. So we could do this forever, and I'm going to get you out here, man. Appreciate time. But Greg nailed this, by the way. I don't know if you saw the comment said, how come it's Jake from State Farm and not T from State Farm? Imagine those damn commercials you could be doing. I'm glad it's not, because he'd be too big for us at that point.
No, I'm never too big for anybody, man. I just love, hey, man, this has been a great 3.5 years, however year run we've been doing this, man. Let's keep it going, man. I love coming out here talking Husker hoops or whatever sports topic you want to talk about. And let's keep it going.
It ain't going to stop, man. So you never will, brother. We love you, and we can't wait to talk to you soon, man. Have a blessed week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Y'all take care. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Y'all have a great rest of your week. Peace.
Thanks, T. Appreciate it. Henry T. Buchanan, Husker legend, right there hanging out in the Morning Hookup every Wednesday with us around 10:15. So how much time we have left? You want to take another break?
We got 30 seconds.
That's it?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? One story to watch for tonight. If you're a Braves fan, if you're a Husker fan, and you get a chance to watch the Braves game tonight, I'm pretty sure Spencer Schwellenbach is getting his debut tonight.
He is. My buddy lives down in Atlanta, and his work is taking an outing to the Braves game tonight.
Perfect night.
And yesterday he learned, he's like, oh, Schwellenbach's pitching?
Yeah.
So he's wearing his Husker gear to the game tonight. So
Atta
he's
baby. So
pretty
Schweller would be on the bump tonight. So again, thank you guys. We got 30-10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We're getting close. All right. From Elijah and I, we appreciate you guys so much on a hump day, thinking about the Wilson family as well. And man, we'll catch you guys on a Thursday.
We could stick around in the stream here for just a little bit if
for
you want.
a couple minutes. Yeah, Ryan 840 says Herbal, solid replacement. The T Legend is always thinking of the Wilson family.
They keeping them.
Look, you're getting props from our peeps.
Yeah, that's new for me.
Solid, giving you the solid mark.
I've come a long way from Sticky Fingers Herbal.
Well, we thought about it the other day. Did you hear the story? Will can't find his name tag.
No, I did not. I did not. I wondered. Okay, there's like this CBS News tag in here. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
I was wondering where this came from. I thought about taking that.
Oh, take that. We thought about he had the name tags. Like I can't find. He blamed it on me at first. I'm like, there's one person.
I have a
here.
feeling. Is it behind this soundboard? Has he looked there?
He has not looked.
Because he always used to sit up there. I wonder if it got knocked off.
He has
at some
not
point.
looked there.
Behind the soundboard's a thought.
He tried to blame me.
Also, these. I noticed these. I've been meaning to get the story on these Fred Couple menus.
That's our good friend Ernesto out of Florida, right? And you're well documented to know that Will Wilson hates Fred Couples, right?
No,
because he was denied an autograph. So that was sent in on behalf of one of our great listeners.
I've been wondering for a while. I'm
Yes.
like, well, I'm sorry for not signing for you. Please forgive me.
Fred Couples.
That's pretty good.
It's a solid mail we get.
I feel bad for Fred Couples. They're just sitting out at dinner and Ernesto's kind of, hey, my guy Will, you denied him a signature. Poor Fred just probably trying to enjoy his dinner.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
What was this place? The Seafood Kitchen in Atlantic Beach, Florida.
Thanks, Fred.
That is
Shane
awesome.
said, let's get Schmitty to fill in for Hooksy next time that I'm gone.
Folks don't want
Schmitty's
that.
big time, man. He's big time.
The folks don't want
They
that.
don't want that. He's big time. You can catch those guys from 4:30 to 6:30.
Well, because you got
4 to 6.
Schmitty's he's in his news mode in the morning.
Yeah, he's
news
locked
talk.
in,
Yeah,
man. If you want to hear that voice, that voice that you hear all across Lincoln, you can tune in from 6 to 9.
6 to 9.
6, boy. God bless
Yeah, it's an early wake up call when they have me.
I don't know how you switch gears so crazy. They're very talented over there. Going from news because you occasionally do fill in when Carol's out.
Yeah, I try to keep it light. I understand that I am not Carol and Schmitty, so I try to be like, let's keep it light. Like you guys aren't listening to me for my take on Donald Trump and Joe Biden, so I'm just gonna try to keep it light here.
I just look, man. I'm gonna keep the board rolling. Schmidt, you got this today. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. Well, like I just come up with some jokes.
Yeah,
I can read an AP news story and quickly
quickly
try to jumble it down and like, all right, now where's the joke I can find in this?
next time you are able to go over there and do that, you should pull off the Good Morning Vietnam.
Good morning. I don't know. Maybe Elijah can help with getting the second hour back. I don't know, Shane. I'm not that powerful.
Yeah, you guys have to send emails. It still might not work. Who knows? All right, let's get out of here.
People don't listen to me.
Let's get out. You guys have a great hump day, man. We'll catch you tomorrow.